Hey Chamber friends! So this video is actually a little bit self-serving, but I'm just so excited that I had to share with you. I have actually recently published a 2020 yearly, monthly, and weekly calendar planner on Amazon, and I wanted to share some of the pros and the cons with you just to be totally upfront and honest. That way you can see if you think it would be useful, but also I would really love some of your feedback just to see how I can make this better. So as you can see, it is a large 8.5 by 11 because I just wanted something that was big because I actually do take up the whole page. You can also see pretty quickly that I've actually created manually these green tabs. I got these from Hobby Lobby for $2 and it had 6 colors and each color has like a 30 of the same color, so we were able to distribute them throughout the office. And they work just like sticky notes, and there's also some nicer ones online. As you can see, I also got some different types of stickers that were made for planners that have holidays and different things. And I've also had to utilize bookmarks because the downside to it being a yearly, monthly, and weekly calendar is that it is very thick. So to kind of help myself just not even worry about the past ones, you can see I've already got 4 different bookmarks, 3 of which are actually small bookmarks that just keep me a little bit out of the way. But I've also used just actually one giant rubber band to hold all of the back of the book, and then probably once I start getting to the middle, I'll get a second rubber band and use it for the front. And they do make nicer ones that are made for planners or books and different things. So I'm sure you're also curious about what's inside. I've actually listed out some holidays that I think are interesting for chambers to remember, kind of like Small Business Week in May. I've also put a full 2020 calendar so you can do different things at a glance. As you can see, I've already started to highlight when my office is closed and other key information. And in the spirit of being totally upfront and honest, you can see that this paper is thin, so I can actually start to see parts of where the highlighter comes through. So if that bothers you, please just know that, because that is one of the downsides to self-publishing on Amazon KDP, is I actually don't have any control over the type of paper. I can only pick the color white or cream. So if you have any advice about other options, please let me know, but I did want to go ahead and point that out. As for pens, I've found it's not as bad. You can see where I started to write the date here, and I don't see it seeping through, but I think if you had like a ballpoint or very inky pen or a marker, that would definitely go through just like the highlight did. So I'm sure you're curious again about the other pages I have. So this is a 1-pager of just the months that if you wanted to at first, you could even copy just to brainstorm, do whatever you want to do with it. I also put a brainstorm page for your aspirational visions and 3-year visions. And then I really encourage you to work on 12-week goals. You would set 3 SMART goals for yourself, whether they're personal or work related. But the important thing is to detail out the steps you need to take and the due date. So as soon as you pick a due date, you would need to go over to a month and assign it to yourself. With the 12-week goal, I also want you to think about what you'll struggle with and how you overcome that. And I've also included a page for lead and lag indicators. And if you're not sure what those are, I highly recommend the book 12-Week Year. And that's actually where I got this idea from. And I just really like it because by setting those 12-week deadlines, you're more likely to get it done a lot quicker and actually to follow through. So then of course I've got the monthly page, and again I like my big book, so that's why it's a little bit bigger. I've put in one little quote, and then I have a box for focus, birthdays, don't forget, and people to see, as well as a grid for the next month and just an empty grid space that you can utilize however you want. And then after each month is going to be 4 weekly planner pages. There's also a blank page for notes and a little section for gratitude because there's a growing desire/importance for that. And then also there's the current month at a glance. And on the back of every weekly planner is also going to be a meeting notes page. That way, If you know that you said or needed something at a meeting that you had back in February, you could actually just flip to the February month and go check your meeting notes. And that's partly why I wanted to do a physical book that you can't tear paper out of. And then after you get through all of your meeting and weekly pages, there is a monthly wrap-up page. So right now I have what got done, wins, what worked or didn't work, things that made me happy, and things to report. I've included one small empty box for you as well. And again, that's another page I would love feedback on. As you can see, I've actually already started about half a page of notes of different things that I know I want to do for next year's planner. And then so those were the repetitive pages. But after December, at the very end, I included a cute little coloring page just for funsies. But there's also a grid for next year's dates, notes for next year. And then I also really like these pages that have the 3 calendar. That way, if there's specific things that you know you want to do, maybe for an event that you always have in May, that you go ahead and jot those ideas down while you have them in your head. And that way, by the time you get to 2021, you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that. So that's an example of not only how I customize my own personal planner, but also just what's inside, because I know it's not very obvious on the Amazon page, but again, it's not something I have control over. So I did want you to see this video so you could see, what's actually inside. So again, if you have questions or feedback or even just ideas for me for next year, I would really love to hear them. Please comment below or send me an email.